Not everybody is ready for the procure tech that they think they need.
I want to talk a little bit about buying and implementation processes with you, because we talked about it on some of the prep. Procurement tech implementations, they are failing at an uncomfortable rate, I would say. What is the most hard, what's the biggest hard truth, the inconvenient truth that nobody wants to really talk about in procurement?
Not everybody is ready for the procure tech that they think they need, they think they want to buy, and definitely not just what somebody wants to sell them. I think that it's this question of readiness, and you're right. You and I talked a little bit about this in an earlier call, is if you're not ready, then no matter how great the tool is, no matter how great the tech is, you're not going to be successful. And it won't necessarily be the technology's fault. Now, I would go on to say that I think part of the problem that we're seeing, and you're right, the failure rates are shocking. You know, depending on who you look at, it's any place now upwards of 80 to 90% failure or abandon rates.
Yeah.
And I do think that some of the onus lies with the procure tech companies, because let's face it, they're motivated to sell. They're motivated by revenue. We all get that. That's how sales, right? That's how commerce works. They're not motivated to say, are you ready? To the client. And then the uncomfortable truth could be, you're not ready for our tech. You know, the example that I've heard several people use, and there's all variations of it depending on, you know, who your audience is. But you may have the money to buy a Lamborghini, but if you don't know how to A, drive, B, probably drive a manual transmission, and C, drive a high-performance sports car, it's going to be a failure. And yet the dealership will sell you the car if you sign the contract.
Right.
And so it's when you step back and you think about, in the rest of our lives, we accept a certain amount of readiness requirement. And I think one of the other characteristics, and it's common, you see it on LinkedIn a lot now, it's absorption capacity or absorption capability. And
what do you mean by that, Kenda?
As a user, not only am I ready, do I have the governance structure and the culture and the corporate acumen to take on this procure tech, but do we as a company, as the client, have the capacity to absorb the change and to embrace that change and to embrace what it means to the rest of our business? Dropping procure tech in almost always, in successful implementations requires process change, policy change, training, often people change, realignment of job responsibilities. If a company isn't ready to do that, willing to do that, and has the cultural and leadership capacity and maybe corporate appetite to do that, you're going to fail.